Previously on Maynard DIY.
And now, everybody's favorite part of a woodworking project, sanding. Definitely not trying to take the total rusticness out of these boards, but they're a little hairy, so that's all we're doing here. Just cleaning them up, making them a little bit smoother, so that way if anybody runs their hands over them, they're not going to get 100 slivers. And that's the reason for the gloves. When you're working with this stuff, it can be a little splintery, so throw some gloves on, save the tweezers. Just got some 120 grit sandpaper on my DeWalt random orbital sander here. I'm not going over it very slow, nice and fast, just trying to take the little bit extra fuzz off it and clean it up just a little bit. If I wanted it to be a smooth board, I could have ran it through my jointer and planer before we started this process. But this is kind of the look that we were going for, so that's why we're leaving it a little rough. So, these three boards are going to get put together. We're using these as a spacer. It's about 1/16 of an inch thick, so that'll give us a nice little gap, give us that shiplap look. That way it doesn't look just like one flat board going across. And as these have dried out, they're definitely not perfectly straight or flat, so that way the defects will blend in a little bit. I'm using a couple pieces of these boards that we ripped down to kind of keep this all flat. I noticed that if I don't do this, when I go to clamp these boards together to get them at the right spacing, they'll want to buckle. I'm running these nails at a little bit of an angle because they're 1¼ inch nails, and it's about exactly what the thickness of the two pieces of wood is, so I don't want it to pop through that front. Now when you're shooting these, you don't want to shoot it at an angle like this, because that nail has a tendency to bend and it could deflect off this and just shoot off to the side. But the nail is not going to want to deflect this way. So if you shoot it at an angle like this, it could deflect side to side, but there's a lesser chance of that than if you did it at this angle here. So I'm trying to space these in the center because one of these is going to be the front panel and then the other two panels are going to butt up on the back side. So I want to make sure I leave enough room for 3/4 of an inch of that. We'll start over here. Drill some holes for the jigsaw to drill in. So to help me get my chop saw set up pretty close to accurate, we're going to take this, put it on the bottom line, and then pivot it until it lines up with my line and mark I just made. Looks like we got about 15 degrees, should get us right there. see. For this. For this board here, to provide a little character and take a little bit of the edge off, I'm just going to kind of randomly chamfer these edges with this, not consistently, just kind of give it some character. Love these little trim screws. They got a nice small head on them. It's a T15, I think. And now they just do a nice job holding things together without looking hideous. This right here is why I didn't make these pieces of wood that are holding this whole thing together come all the way to the edge, because if it did, it would run into each other right there. Alright, so we got to cut this siding back. I'm going to put J-channel around so the box kind of sets in the J-channel, and then we're going to notch this down here so it kind of follows this profile too. It's a little cold today, so I'm not sure if I should be doing this or not, but we're going to find out together here. I'm going to use this saw. I got the blade spun around on this, and we're going to find out together if this is a bad idea or not. So here we go. Alright, these ones here, you want to cut a little notch in there and flip that down so any water coming into here runs down the J-channel, not behind your siding. Alright, so I guess that about wraps up our box covering, situation here. Didn't all come out perfect. Had to make some adjustments along the way, but it's insulated, it's covered, it looks a lot better than that pipe sticking up out of the ground, and all those pipes being exposed. So that's I guess it for this project. So we'll see you on the next one. Make sure, if you like this video, got any value out of it, make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe so that way you can see more projects and wood boiler updates and those kind of things. And yeah, stay tuned for what's happening next.